over here, but let's hope that it starts in a second, which that one looks like it is, and this one is gonna look like it is too. Hi everyone, those of you who are tuning in, sorry, give me 2 seconds to have some fun with this because everything decided to misbehave on me earlier today, and I want to make sure that we capture everything that we're supposed to be doing live. So those of you who are just tuning in, bear with me 1 second because it's not behaving over here. But we're here, we're live, we're going to play with these two. So we should be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Good evening to all of you. Oh, okay. So this is completely impromptu conversation. This evening I wanted to just come and say hi to all you evening peeps. All of you who love to just hang out at night time, who aren't around during the day, who may or may not have seen the journey that we're on right now with Fit Love. And what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is probably one of the most powerful understandings of yourself that you will learn. And it might be things that you've heard before, and they might be things that are completely new to you, but I just want you to be open and to listen with new ears to what I'm saying, because what I'm sharing with you now will give you a massive understanding of yourself, of your life, of what's kind of potentially going on, and how everything that's happening in the world right now is affecting or impacting you, and of course how you can use EAM to help you shift and change that. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight is, you've probably heard of the state of flow. We've all experienced it. You know, those wonderful states when everything's flowing easily for you, life feels great, you feel like you're on top of the world. And what is the opposite of that? We've all experienced the opposite of it too, which we commonly call stress. Now, in the world of energy, or in energy healing, we call it the incoherent or out of flow or out of alignment state. But ultimately, in day-to-day language, we all call it stress. If you go to the doctors, they might diagnose you as being stressed, but there isn't actually a stress button as such, and there isn't any medication, although there are lots of things that people might choose to give you to influence stress or to overcome stress. No one has ever diagnosed or found exactly where that stress thing is. So the reason that I want to talk about this tonight is because it has such a massive impact on us, psychologically and physiologically. And we've all experienced stress in our lives. We all have, and most of us are experiencing it, or most of us have experienced it on a day-to-day basis. Now, the thing is, it's actually designed as our body's natural reaction to perceived threats or situations or scenarios in our environment that we need to directly respond to. And the stress response has been designed to help make sure that we can respond or react as quickly as possible to those perceived threats around us. Now, I'm sure you may have heard this term before. The fight, flight, freeze, and appease response is something that our body is literally designed to do. It was designed, however, many years ago, when we weren't living in the world that we're living in right now. It was designed to help us run away from that, the big scary lion or the dinosaur or whatever conversation you want to have. It was designed to help keep us safe so that we could run away or move away or fight when in immediate danger. Now, usually when I say this, I kind of mean it, but at the moment, I'm not sure that I do. There are fewer scary animals patrolling the streets nowadays, and we don't bump into a lion generally on our day-to-day goings about when we're out and about the house. So that stress response that was designed to serve and support you is no longer needed in the way that we were using it before. I'm hoping this is all making, I'm just checking that my tech's working. Are we all with me? You all with me? Is everybody with me? Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that we are, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're streaming live where we're meant to be. So the stress response is designed to give us a short burst of energy so that we can run away from whatever this immediate threat or response is that we need to take. So it's designed to flood our body with blood and with adrenaline. It raises the heart rate. It creates tension in the muscles so that we can literally run away or fight as fast as we can. Now, physiologically, stress affects every single one of our body systems. It affects our nervous system. It affects our respiratory system. It affects our It affects our immune response, our digestive and reproductive organs. That's all of our major body systems influenced by stress and all of the hormones and all of the adrenaline and everything else that's going on. Now, what it does is it actually shuts down your core central system. So think of everything here in your torso, from your neck down, your brain included. It literally shuts down the response to all of the normal day-to-day function, the things that your body is meant to be doing, digesting, breathing, processing the food that you've eaten, making sure that the blood is pumping around your body, fighting infections, all of the things that it quietly does in the background that you never even notice. It shuts down all of those systems, because it needs to use that blood and oxygen and push it out to your arms and your legs to make sure that you can run or fight. Now remember, this has been designed as a short-term solution to run away from the lion or the scary dinosaur or whatever it was. Now, that's perfect. Of course, if you're fighting a lion, you don't want your body to be dealing with that lunch that you just had like an hour or 10 minutes ago. You want every single resource to be available to you to fight the big scary lion. Now, the thing is, we live in a world, and now in 2020, more than ever, we live in a world that creates a huge amount of stress. And this year, I think for millions of people, never probably in the history of mankind have there been as many people on the planet experiencing this one state of stress or fear or overwhelm ever. Our body systems are not designed. They are not designed to live under this amount of stress for such prolonged periods of time. None of us were. Our physiology has not caught up with living in the world that we live in today, with all of the carcinogenic things in our environment, with all of the devices that we have, with all of the stress levels that we're living under. Even the way that technology has rapidly exploded in the last 20 years. We've got notifications all day, every day. We've got a phone next to us all day, every day. You're on a device, you're on a screen, you're constantly under pressure. Beep, 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 ping, ping, ping. Something is demanding your attention 24/7. And for many, the only respite you get is when you go to sleep at night. And even then, if you forget to put your phone on aeroplane mode or leave it out the room, you're probably still getting pings during the night. It's constant. Our stress levels are way, way, way above anything that our human body was designed to live with. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, obviously from an EAM perspective, is the opposite of stress is the flow state. But there is a massive impact on us mentally and emotionally and physically when we are in that stress response. Increased exposure to these hormones, cortisol is actually a carcinogen. It is actually creating the state within our body for cancers to form. It reduces blood oxygen to all of the organs in our body, meaning that our whole body system, and please listen to this carefully in light of everything that's going on in the world, you will notice words that I'm about to miss out of what I'm saying, but our whole body is then prone to attack or to be affected by bugs or bacteria and things that begin with V, I'm not going to mention, can then actually get into our body system. Not necessarily because that thing is dangerous or can impact us, but because of the stress that our body is already under. And it means that its usual defenses that would usually keep you perfectly safe, you wouldn't be affected by it, you wouldn't be influenced by it, can then, something that's usually so mild or not normally a problem, such as a common cold or flu, will commonly make you really sick. That's when things get into our body. And so it's often less to do with the illness and much more to do with our internal environment, with what we're feeling, with what we're thinking, with the stress levels, with what we've got going on. And the thing is, our body has no idea that there is any difference between that particular bug or a big, scary lion. When we are living in such a stressful environment with adrenaline and cortisol creating these massive, massive floods of hormones throughout our body all day, every day, it affects our capacity to think, it affects our capacity to feel. It literally, cortisol switches off your brain function within 7 minutes. 50% of your brain's normal, high frequency, able to make clear logical decisions is gone. 50% of your normal brain function is gone when cortisol is present. 50%. So if you're wondering why there might be a few people around who are usually very logical, very practical, very grounded, very down to earth, who suddenly seem to have lost their usual capacity to be sensible or reason or make choices and decisions from a well-grounded basis, it's usually down to stress. Stress / cortisols equals brains that don't work, people who don't think, or people who don't think clearly. Along with then the chronic impact that it has on our physical health conditions, pain, inflammation, illnesses, the knock-on effect of that blood and oxygen that should be serving all of these internal organs being pushed out to our arms and legs constantly, and therefore affecting the rest of our body. Now, this is let alone the psychological impact of what we're seeing and perceiving, the physiological and emotional impact of everything that's going on. We're seeing people with massive rates of depression, people feeling anxious, people feeling overwhelmed. And all of this inhibits our body's natural ability to repair, to get better. It stops us from being able to regenerate and to rebuild ourselves. Our body has the capacity to heal. It is designed to redesign and rebuild itself all the time. Now, the reason I'm banging on about this is because the opposite of stress or incoherence is obviously the flow state, which is what I am personally really passionate about. We are really passionate about with EAM, and in fact, it's what EAM is all about. When you can recognize that you have stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and it shows up in many, 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 many different ways in our environment, in our lives, then you know in that moment, I'm feeling stressed. I really need to do some EAM. Now is the time that I need to check in and recognize that my body is right now in a stress response. And you know when you find it difficult to breathe, you might notice yourself sighing, you might find yourself being a little bit moody and a little bit snappy and a little bit short-tempered. You might no longer care about what other people are thinking and feeling or what they have to say. You're very insular, you're focused on what you've got going on, you don't care what's happening to Peter or Paul or John or Bob or Tallulah or Fred or anybody next door. You're solely focused on you. When we're in that stress response, we become about us. We go in on ourselves. Yet the opposite of that is true. When we are in love, when we're in flow, when we're in coherence, we open up, we expand, our heart opens. There's been masses and masses and masses of studies over the last 20, 30, 40 odd years. And one of the best, most amazing places that I've learned a phenomenal amount of this from is the HeartMath Institute, who've been studying the state of flow for over 40 years. The flow state isn't just something that we talk about in spiritual practices or the law of attraction or self-help. It's absolutely a measurable state within your body. We can measure the flow state, the change between being in stress or incoherence and being in flow coherence. So what EAM helps you to do is to get yourself through choice out of that stressed and incoherent state into the flow state, allowing you to get yourself in a place of being grounded, allowing you to just take a moment to breathe, allowing you to just change your perspective on any given situation, allowing you to change the stress signals that are being sent to the body and shifting it to a place of being much calmer, of being more grounded, of seeing things much more positively, of feeling hope, possibility, inspiration, expansion. You can even tap into those endorphins and oxytocin, the good feeling, calm, happy, loving hormones that we know open us up. They allow us to connect with ourselves and to start caring about other people, to start feeling loving towards other people. With everything that's going on, getting ourselves into the flow state goes far, far beyond just managing your stress levels. When you can choose to get yourself into flow, using processes like meditation, mindfulness, whatever it is that's going to get you there, or of course, EAM, choosing to get yourself into the flow state isn't just that 2 minutes of peace or that 5 minutes of peace. You are literally rewiring your brain. You are literally rewiring your brain to think differently. You are able to rewire your brain to perceive situations outside of you in a completely different way to the way that they might be being presented. So shifting yourself deliberately from a place of stress to a place of flow or alignment or groundedness or peace is about so much more than just that one moment. In order to work through or to move through all of this, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. When we can keep ourselves as much in alignment as possible, please don't think I'm some angel that completely ignores everything that's going on and never gets upset or wound up or peed off. Of course we all do. Of course things will still push our buttons, and that's when having a process like EAM can actually really help you, because you go, do you know what? I am actually probably not the best person to talk to right now, and I really need to do this work on myself. I can choose to do this work on myself. So when you step into that place of owning what you're feeling, knowing what you're thinking, knowing you're not in your most in flow state, that's when you are truly empowered. That's when you are conscious. It's when you're aware of yourself. So the flow state allows you to open up. It allows you to think clearly. It's been proven to create changes in your physiology. Okay, if you think about nothing else, the flow state will literally change what's happening in your physical body. It will put your body in a place of being able to heal. It will allow you to think clearly. It will allow blood to flow. It will allow oxygen to go to your brain so that you can make really good, clear, grounded decisions, as well as all of the things that it will do for you psychologically, emotionally, in your relationships, in your connection with yourself, with other people, to be more loving, to be more open, to be more expansive, to wake up feeling good every day, and to choose to get yourself in that place as and when you want to. There is so much you can do when you're in the state of flow. Even when everything around you looks and feels like it's falling apart. So I want you to make a decision. Choose for yourself. Choose for yourself. Do I want to be in stress and incoherence and playing into, buying into, giving my energy to fear and stress and overwhelm? Or do I want to give myself 5 minutes to get myself grounded, to get myself in alignment and choose the flow state? Which one of these two states can I do more with my life? Which one of these two states can I be more in control? Which one of these two states can I influence? Can I influence everything I'm seeing outside here in the outside world? Or can I influence everything I'm feeling in here and the environment I have? You have absolute dominance, and I mean that in a positive way, over what you think and what you feel every single day, regardless of what you see going on outside. And it's a completely different conversation about how we shift what happens outside by changing what we're feeling inside. But that's probably for another video. So the reason I'm sharing this with you today is because I know when people first come across EAM, they're like, oh, it's just some, weird out there spiritual practice. How can saying these words out loud and following these 5 steps help me feel better? And there is so much more to EAM than it just being a self-help tool. It is absolutely grounded in neuroscientific research, in research into the flow state, in neurocardiology, into quantum physics. It's grounded in psychology. It works with our physiology. And yes, it's also grounded in spiritual practices in Chinese medicine and Eastern philosophies too. Because what we're really working with is our flow state, which is an energetic experience, which in Western medicine they call stress when it's out of flow, or we call happiness. There is actually no Western medical term for not being stressed, which is ridiculous, because actually it's the place where everything we want resides. It's where it all lives. So if you're feeling stressed, if you know anyone who's feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, depressed, peed off, wound up, frustrated, whatever it is that you're experiencing that is not allowing you to be in this flow state, know that there is something that can help you. And it is the 5 steps of EAM. So I really invite you, if this is completely new to you, to click the link, come and find out what we're doing with Fear to Love Live. Over this next month, we're going to be with you every single day. It doesn't matter when you join, the videos are going to stay up. It doesn't matter when you're joining. You can start with this from the beginning. It's 10 minutes a day to move you from the stress space into this place of flow. To move you out of all of the fear and the overwhelm that is massively impacting every element of your life into a place of feeling grounded and in control. And I'm pretty sure you know 5 or 10 people who could probably do with hearing about this too. Now, I could literally spend the rest of the night talking to you and geeking out on all of the teaching around the science and the quantum physics and the neuroscience and all of the things that sit behind it. But I really want to keep this simple. Make a decision for yourself. Stress and overwhelm, or flow, grounding, empowerment, alignment, connection, peace, love, joy, happiness. Stress or this? Stress or this? Choose for yourself. Choose for yourself. Listen inside and allow your heart to tell you what it wants and needs. And in order to work through this, I'll give you a little clue. This one. Choose this one. And if you're ready to take that step, we will be here. We are here with you every single step of the way. That's it. That's all I've got to share for tonight. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them underneath this. I will come and have a little sneaky peek on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll reply to the comments, and I will do a Q&A later on in the week as well, one evening. Just an opportunity to come on and hang out and then be live with you to answer anything you need to know. But stress or flow? Stress or flow? Stress or flow? Choose flow. Bye for now.